Hey everyone, this is Kiki-Roo. I want to talk to you about my new release, Anticipointment. Anticipointment is a 5-song EP. It gets its name from the merger of anticipation and disappointment because it ultimately follows a couple of characters weaving their way through those emotions. It starts before the relationship begins and it moves all the way to well after the relationship has ended, and it covers the breadth of emotions felt throughout that process, from before it started, the excitement, in the middle of it, the seeds of frustration when things are starting to fall apart and crack, all the way to looking back on it after it's ended and really taking stock of, was my investment of emotion worth it in this relationship? The opening track, Notice Me Please, is before the relationship has begun. If you've been in a position where you knew you liked someone, but you felt like it was hard to be noticed, you weren't sure if they knew who you were, this song really touches on that. The singer knows they like someone, they have these strong feelings, and they're really doing their part to try to find a moment to show this other person, to really see if there's a chance there for that relationship, to see if that spark is there. There's an element of sadness because the character is not noticed and hoping to get noticed, but ultimately it is excitement. It's hoping that a new relationship can start from this. It's really the beginnings of the anticipation.
If lightning strikes on Bay Street tonight, lightning strikes.
The second song, Bay Street, is about falling in love in Port Orchard, Washington, my hometown. So Bay Street is in our historic downtown. I spent many days and evenings walking the boardwalk there, or just going into and out of the cool shops that have been there over the years. While I've never personally fallen in love on Bay Street in Port Orchard, this takes experiences from my relationships in Port Orchard over the years, and this really touches on both sides of the relationship. You actually get, I sing on this and so does Jasmine, so you're really getting a male and female perspective of this relationship, of them both knowing they like each other but not sure if the other person likes them, and looking for that opportunity to express that. On Bay Street is where this ultimately will happen, and the singer's really excited and looking forward to this chance to tell this person and find out, is this relationship going to work out, or am I just going to make a fool of myself by asking? Next we move on to our midway point in the EP, the third track, which is called Turning the Page, and as it suggests, this is where things start to change. This could be considered somewhat of an interlude on the album as we transition from the excitement and joy of a potential new relationship to the seeds of frustration. So they're starting to see cracks in that relationship. For the first time, the people in this relationship are not on the same page. They're starting to get frustrated. They're wondering what the other person is thinking or why what they're saying is being misinterpreted. If you've been in a relationship where you suddenly found yourself on a different page from your partner, then you know how frustrating that can be. And this song, once again, we have both people singing, so it really is a back and forth, and that disconnect is just becoming more and more obvious as we work our way through the song. Ultimately culminating in both singing together, why isn't this working out? It really speaks to past experiences I have where, even in the midst of a relationship, wondering, is this doomed to fail? Are these differences I'm starting to see so big that we can't overcome them? And the fears associated with that, and the frustrations of those conversations as they start to unfold.
Away from me, so don't turn around, I don't wanna remember.
And our fourth song, we get into the relationship has ended, and it's recently after the relationship has ended. This song pulls from multiple bad endings to relationships that I've been a part of. And in this song, it's more from the perspective of a relationship that ended when you were not ready for it to end. You still wanted that relationship, and it ended on the other person's decision. It's called Yellow Hoodie, and that is taken directly from one of my relationships. This person, I often saw them in a yellow hoodie, and after the relationship ended, I thought I was ready to be out and about again. I thought I'd come to terms with it ending, but if I caught a glance of a yellow hoodie in my peripheral, I would freeze up. That instant fear of all those emotions coming back into you thought you'd dealt with, you thought you'd moved on from, and man, it can come back in an instant. You're not ready for it. And this song is focused on that feeling. In the song I say, don't turn around because I don't want to remember. It's just that feeling that, I hope that glance I caught of that yellow hoodie was not this person, because if I see their face, I'm just going to collapse and fall to tears again, fall to pieces, and it's going to be really embarrassing out in public. While it is sad and there's a lot of pain in the song, the song has a lot of energy, and I think it does capture that emotion, that just raw feeling of, man, I thought I was there, I thought I was over this, but clearly I still have feelings. I'm still emotionally invested in this, even though I'm trying to move on from it.
Do you still think?
And then ultimately we move to the last song on the EP, Memory. Personally, this is my favorite song lyrically on the EP. And in this song, the character is looking back at a past relationship and sort of taking stock, looking at it as a whole. There's a lot of still pain and heartbreak because it did end, but there's also an element of, you could call it fond reflection. The line that I love the most from this is, the music ended, but still we danced, imagined love still stood a chance. I found that some of the deep and meaningful relationships I was a part of, some of the multi-year relationships that I put a lot of emotion into, after they'd ended, I would still find myself drawn to that person. Even if we both knew it was over and we were ready to move on, sometimes we'd run into each other and there'd be somewhat of a rekindling. So many times in my past, there's been that knowledge of knowing it's over, and yet still you might re-engage with that person, and it might turn to flirting when it shouldn't, or it's hard not to rekindle old emotions or memories that are going to lead you to the wanting to be back together, when really it's best for you both to move on after you've decided it's over, or once a deal breaker has come up, whatever it is that's established that, okay, this isn't going to work out in the long run, so why is it so hard for us to let go of that and move on? And so you ultimately do get the disappointment side of our Anticipointment title. I hope if you listen to Anticipointment, you're able to go on that journey from anticipation, the excitement of a new relationship, all the way through the pain and heartbreak associated with that failing, and looking back on it and sort of introspectively looking at the emotions you felt along the way. I hope you've enjoyed this breakdown. I hope it makes you excited to listen to the songs. You can check them out right now wherever you stream music. Just look for Kiki-Roo, Anticipointment. Thanks, guys.
Keep playing, just to find out who pains us more each